Yeah, hi there, everyone. Aaron, founder and CEO of CIII Games with you. Hope you're having a good day. Hope you're having a good weekend. It's the first day of daylight savings, so make sure you turn your clocks back, gain an hour's sleep. It's going to be starting to get really, really dark here. Just to clue you in on what's going on here, if you've been following me, I've been talking about get my mother a guardian, a lot about lawyers, attorneys, which is a legal counselor, and about that process. The bottom line is, ladies and gentlemen, that's just something that's going to get done. I think if you've been following my stuff and all my vlog and ultimately my story, which is Project Survive, which details the past 3 years, a short story of the past 3 years since my father passed and what's happened. From that point forward, taking care of my sister, my mother, and the psychic mediums and all that. And yeah, this guardianship thing, I feel it's the best. It's going to happen, and I'm going to tell you why. And it's what I tell any judge or any lawyer that actually wants to help and cares about the situation. Because not all two lawyers are the same. It's not a one-to-one thing with lawyers and legal counselors and law firms. And I've learned that very, very well. As you know, my father passed 4 years ago. It was very, very sad, very sudden. 4 minutes in my kitchen. The day, it was tough. It was a nightmare. It was a total nightmare, and then from there, things just went downhill. My mother couldn't take care of herself. She started talking to psychic mediums with the belief that, okay, she could sustain a spiritual relationship with my dad, which totally backfired, and the medium just fed her sorry for my language, but a whole bunch of shit that she believed, bogged her down, and it took her out of reality. And she stopped caring for herself. She had to go to hospitals, IVs, 2 IVs, all that. And then that led to basically my sister, who wasn't able to be cared for anymore. So I took over. I took over on the 18th of October, 2020, through the social agency that I worked through. My mother worked through. I was an independent contractor caregiver. And then eventually that necessitated guardianship for my sister. So we had a telephonic hearing for that. That was on like the 20th, 21st of July, 2021. We have the hearing the next few days. It was telephonic. Judge is able to make the decision in 10 minutes flat because my mother didn't contest it. I was a person of interest, because I was the son, part of the family, so attorney that was working on behalf, representing my sister and then the social agency, asked me a few questions. My sister's resource coordinator would communicate with me by email. Said, okay, the lawyer working on behalf of the social agency wants to ask a few questions about your home personal information. So can you get this to me? So I got that to her, and then from there, the guardianship of my sister was clear and cut. I wish it would always be that way, but life is life, and things are tough, and life doesn't go that way. That's that's just the bottom line. And my sister's guardianship, it was like that, and then we were pulled out of the house because the guardian said, you know what, conditions are unfit. That's we start our hotel story and journey. I took care of her for 2 years. Bam! After that, she moves in to home care March 2nd of this year, 2023. I stay in the hotel for 3 months. Then I come back here because I ran out of money, and that's when the crap happened. And you've seen it because I do my little sit reps and everything like that, and I talk about everything that's going on. Basically, when my mother was here, I lived on eggshells, and it was a living hell. It was living a living hell. I know I mentioned it in my tweets on my timeline, my Twitter timeline, or it's called X.com now, obviously, but I still call it Twitter. And I did my little sit reps and my greetings, weekday hey say, weekend ended, and all that. And I just started, saying, yeah, it sucks here. It's the same thing. It's repeat over and over and over again. It's insanity. And it's just taking that insanity to the next day. So you fast forward to today, it's been 5 months since I've been here. And my mother's on medication. She does therapy. It's called Seroquel. Takes 50 milligrams in the morning, at night. There's also something called Vistaril, Vistaril. She was prescribed that for anxiety, which she doesn't take because she knows it's going to knock her out. She doesn't want to deal with that on top of the Seroquel. She thinks the Seroquel is enough. The Seroquel, the medication's been hit or miss. There's been times when she's been on it. She's still acted up. She's had outbursts every single month. She's yelled and screamed, lashed out. In fact, there isn't even any lawyers that are watching this, which obviously there won't be because, lawyers don't really kind of acknowledge you until, you're a client and you're paying. So, but it's been crazy every single month. I came back here mid-May, and from there, it wasn't good. Cops were called pretty much once every single month. There's a lot of destruction, banging around the house, stomping, and my mother would just lie to me, and say, no, you're hearing things, you don't know what you're talking about, and she was basically deliberately covering it up and manipulating because she's got a problem, and she doesn't want to face that problem. And someone with mental illness isn't going to have the inclination to say, yeah, I have a problem, I need help. They won't. I'm going to tell you right now from personal experience. When I finally do go to court and I bring guardianship before the judge, what I'm going to say is, you know what, Your Honor, I'm not just a litigant here, I'm also a witness, because I'm around my mother 24/7, so I'm the best testimony. And my mother, I know what she's going to do, God bless her, I love her and all that, I want things to work out for her. I said, you know what, I'm floated the idea of guardianship to her. Full guardianship. I said, you know what, things are going to get taken care of here. Things aren't working out. And a few days ago, I kind of had it out with her, not, a little bit of an argument. It was my frustration. I brought my frustration forward. I said, you know what, things aren't working out here. This isn't good. It's unsustainable. You haven't been able to hold a job. 8 of your 9 last jobs you've attempted, you've been fired at because of an outburst. Cops have had to interfere. Last time you were fired on October 5th of this year, cops had to come, and then a few hours later they had to come to my house. And of course nothing gets done because the cops won't do anything. There's no crime committed, evidently. So cops leave, say, oh, just separate, The cops are basically advisory and something like that. Because, and it doesn't help a lot. It does, but it doesn't. And it's very, very frustrating as me, because this is like a case of patient versus victim. I'm the victim. I'm the one who's heard it, seen it for these past few months, really 3 years. And she's the patient because she's diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, bipolar, psychosis, severe depression, and anxiety. She also suffers from panic and anxiety attacks, and it's all throughout her side of the family. And my family genes aren't the greatest. On my father's side, it's the heart attack, stroke, all that. On my mother's side, it's the brain, mental illness, schizophrenia, bipolar, anxiety, panic, anxiety attacks, and my grandmother's mother had it. She had schizophrenia. She was in one of those homes, one of those asylums back in those days, because that's how it went. So it sucks, It really, really, honest to God, sucks. But my mother she can't take care of herself. As her son, I don't have the high confidence in her abilities, in her mental acuity, her mental capacity to be able to take care of herself. Because she hasn't been able to control her emotions, and I've seen it enough to it's destroyed, it's damaged me in some ways. And my mother would get all over my case, because I can't talk about this when she's here, so I either got to do it this way or talk to my aunt, because my aunt's been awesome. She's my closest aunt here, been communicating with me, and I've told her basically every single time, yeah, my mother said, not to use a fear tactic and for me not to tell anyone, but I'm going to tell you anyway, because you know what, I'm a good nephew like that, and I'm a good son, and I love my mother, and that's how I'm showing it. And you know what? Guardianship is another way to say, I love you. It's not the first resort. It can be a last resort. But it's necessary. When you have a loved one, or a friend or a family member, whatever the case may be, and they've got severe mental illness, and they can't see that there's a severe problem. Because what my mother will do, she'll run around this house, stomp around, get alienated, alienate herself from society, go into these rants. She'll get quiet. She'll kind of stare into space. She'll introvert into herself, and the next thing you know, and she has done that. I'm telling you right now, she's had these little ticks, these little grunts, these moans, and then the next thing you know, like, shut up, shut up, and she'll do that all over the house. And then the next thing you know, she'll start stomping and banging things around, talking about my father's ex girlfriend. My father had an ex girlfriend, so she'll ramble on about that, a whole bunch of other stuff, and then next thing you know, you'll bang, bam, stop, 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 rinse and repeat, upstairs, downstairs, and in the basement. I'll hear thump, thump, and thumping sounds and banging sounds all over the place. And then I'll sit there and I'll just listen to it and I'll shake my head. I'm like, here we go again. Here we go again. What the hell is it going to take? What's it going to take? And then I confront her about it. She says, oh, it's a light. The last time she was here in my room, because there was an outburst here, she yelled and screamed all over the place. Said, oh, that's a light from hell. And I got pissed. I got pissed and I said, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay? You don't know what you're talking about. You've lost your mind and you need a guardian. And that's how I said it, because I was very, very frustrated. As anyone would be, you know? No one wants to deal with that crap. And that's where it's come to. So now I'm trying to reach out to lawyers, cold call lawyers, which isn't the greatest, which isn't an easy thing, because not all lawyers will get back to you, and not all lawyers and attorneys are the same, but some feel if there's no attorney-client relationship, there's no obligation for them to return a call to you. If you want to set up a free consultation, okay, then they'll talk to you. But if you want free advice, they'll say, sorry, we can't give legal advice over the phone. Please set up a free consultation. You know, you've probably seen commercials like that before. And it's frustrating as hell, because a guardianship of a person with mental illness isn't clear cut. Every case is different. You know, when you bring it before a judge, you know, when you go to court. And I've tried calling a few lawyers and say, oh, I can't take your case. My caseload's busy. We don't have the capacity to handle this, or it's outside of our priorities. That's what I've heard. And that tells me, okay, well, it's not profitable, and or maybe you don't have a case, which is ridiculous. And that's where I stand right now, everyone. And I know I got to do this sooner or later. The sooner, the better. So again, she starts her job on Tuesday the 7th. And I don't have full-fledged competence. Every job that she's been in, there's been some kind of hassle, some kind of outburst, some kind of yelling, screaming. She's thrown private property around. One of the places she's worked, police had to call for that. The management told her to leave 5 times. She wouldn't leave. Finally, the cop took her out. She got her stuff out of her locker, because they had a locker there where you keep all your belongings, like my father did where he would work. And yeah, it's been rinse and repeat. It's been a living hell. And I think you can understand why I play the lottery. I don't play Powerball to make millions. I do Lucky for Life now. But that's why I play. So I hope you can understand all that. That's where I am right now. I got a few more things I got to do. Catch up XSV 2, which is my YouTube channel. It's all up there. You go through there. It's everything you need to know about me. And then some. So I hope that content's interesting. I hope you can understand what I'm going through. I was promised help by someone saying they were going to pay me back. That hasn't happened. It's now November. We're closing in on 2024. It's tough. It really, really is tough. But sometimes the tough thing is a necessary thing. That's even what I told one of the lawyers I tried to get in contact with. It's tough. But I do want you to keep moving forward and be about your ambition. Because XIII Games, the tagline is crazy, ambitious, cleverly historic. And that not only applies to me, but that applies to you too. So I'm going to put this video up. I got another long video.